July, 9:30 a.m. Maharshi is seriously occupied on a manuscript which he is correcting with Mr. Viswanathan, who sits down to carry out his instructions. Bhagavan is doing hard thinking. I have never before seen him so involved in thoughts. His eyes are wide open and the eyeballs roll from side to side as thoughts roll in his mind, till he finds the right construction of a sentence, or the idea he needs, when he turns to Mr. V and dictates to him. It is now 10 a.m., 15 minutes too late for going out. The attendant, who has been hesitating since some minutes, draws his attention to it. He looks at the timepiece and cries, "Oh la la, it is 10 o'clock. Why didn't you tell me? Look at that, 10 o'clock, and they didn't tell me." He quickly takes the bottle of ointment, lubricates his joints, and rises in haste. 27th July, 10:15 a.m. Maharshi calls the old devotees Professor Venkataramaya and Mr. Viswanathan and makes them sit down. Mr. V reads Atma Bodha of Sri Shankaracharya, one verse in Sanskrit and one in Tamil. Maharshi and Professor V following copies in their hands. The Tamil verses are Maharshi's translation of it, on which he has been occupied since about a week. There has already been a Tamil translation in existence, but it did not please the Maharshi. 2nd August, 9:30 a.m. Sri Maharshi is absorbed in writing. Mrs. Mazumdar, a Bengali devotee, comes in with a tray of fruits and a bottle wrapped in tissue paper in her hand. She places them on the offerings table, prostrates and goes to her place. From the corner of his eye, Sri Bhagavan espies the bottle and, without raising his head, calls the attendant to fetch it, which the attendant does. He coolly takes it and carefully reads the label. Once, twice, even the smallest type, he strains his eyes to read. Then he returns the bottle as indifferently as a child does to an object in which it is not interested. Yana, take it away, it is oil, he tells the attendant, and resumes his writing. His power of observation is amazing, and his show of curiosity in the smallest object, without the slightest desire for it or for anything under the sun, is still more amazing, though delightfully naive. 17th August, 1948, 10:15 a.m. Mr. Rappold, an American devotee, opens his eyes from meditation, in which he seems to have been deeply sunk, and raises his voice. Rappold: Bhagavan, what should a devotee do at the time of death? Bhagavan: a devotee never dies, rather he is already dead. Then he stops and waits for a competent translator. Devaraja Mudalaya enters. Bhagavan completes the answer. What should a devotee do at the time of death? What can he do? Whatever a man thinks in his lifetime, so he does in his last moment. The worldly man thinks of his worldly affairs, and the devotee of devotion and spiritual matters. But a jnani having no thoughts of any kind remains the same. His thoughts having died long ago, his body also died with them. Therefore for him there is no such thing as death. Again, people fear death because they fear to lose their possessions. When they go to sleep they do not have such fear at all. Although sleep resembles death in leaving all possessions behind, it causes no fear in their hearts because of the knowledge that the next morning they will enter into their possessions once again. The jnani, having no sense of possession, is entirely free from the fear of death. He remains the same after death as before it. 28th August, From early morning, people started flocking from the town to the ashram on the rumour that the Maharshi had passed away. Many of them came with tears flowing from their eyes, but became happy on seeing him in good health. In the evening, Sri Bhagavan tells everybody and jokes about it. "A man," he said, "in the morning, gave me his namaskar and then told me of the rumour of my death. I asked him to see for himself and chuckled." Today being the Tamil anniversary of his arrival at Tiruvannamalai, 1896, some enemies of the ashram played this practical joke. God forgive them, for they know not what they do, I thought to myself. 5th September, 9:40 a.m. A visitor hands the Maharshi a very beautiful walking stick, which seems to be made of the best ebony. Maharshi takes it, turns it on all sides, and carefully examines every part of it, then stretches it back to the giver, who signifies that it is an offering for Bhagavan. Sri Bhagavan replies, "What will I do with it?" And turning to the disciples, he smilingly says, "In olden days I used to make and give away sticks. Nowadays I am being presented with them. What will I do with them? If I take this stick, it will remain here unused, till someone will one day carry it off. Then the presenter will feel sorry. Will it not then be better for him to take it back right now, and seeing it, he will always remember me?" The devotees laughed, and the visitor's depression turned to elation, which made him exclaim, "Your grace has overwhelmed me. I'll cherish it all my life, as it has been hallowed by Bhagavan's touch." 22nd February 1949. About a fortnight ago, the ashram doctor, Dr. Sankar Rao, assisted by Dr. Srinivasa Rao, removed a very small growth from the left elbow of the Maharshi, since when it has remained bandaged, but today the bandage has been removed and it is left exposed. It is presumed to have healed. 2nd March 1949, 5:15 p.m. The very aged ashram devotee, the master sculptor, who has been absent since a long time, probably due to old age ailments, came in tottering, carrying fruit offerings. As the Maharshi saw him approach, his eyes opened widely and shone with extreme delight, as if he had seen a long-missed friend, which the old Stopati observed. Stopati was so touched by these signs of Bhagavan's affection that his whole body shook. He wanted to give expression to his love and adoration for Sri Bhagavan, but he did not know how to do it. Finally he yielded to his impulse, and contravening the ashram rule, which forbade the touch of the master's body, fell flat on Maharshi's feet and legs and bathed them with tears. 2 attendants gently helped him to rise and gave him a seat very near Bhagavan's couch. After he calmed down, Sri Maharshi inquired after his health, the cause of his absence, and all his other news. It was a sight to see Sri Bhagavan so deeply moved in meeting again an old ashram worker, who had taken a leading part in the architectural design of his mother's temple, according to the rules prescribed by the Hindu sastras.